Shalom. First, I'd like to give all praises unto Yahweh Shem Yahushai, and double honors unto the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, and honors to you brothers out there on the highways and the byways teaching this word in all sincerity and in truth. And you know me, man, whenever I see these kind of articles, man, I gotta ring the alarm, you know, and use it as an opportunity to push the truth out there, man. Okay. So this article came up on CNBC. It's an extremely rare 13 million year old primate skull found. Okay, now the only fact in that statement was that they found the skull of a primate. Alright, this 13 million year old figure is fantasy. Okay, and it's a fantasy which is based upon false geological theory, okay, which was set up by a guy named Charles Lyell, who wrote a book called Principles of Geology, and he was a Satanist, a witch, and a warlock who subscribed to Babylonian philosophy and hated the Bible, and that was the foundation of his scientific theory. Okay. It was not scientific fact. Okay. Extremely rare 30 million year old primate skull found. This may be the most intact primate skull ever discovered. The fossil comes from a little known period of primate evolutionary history, which you finding a skull of a monkey is not evolutionary history. Alright? That is not evolutionary history. You are just putting that in there. Okay? You have no proof that this skull had descendants that was anything other than what it is. Okay? You have no proof that this skull even had children, let alone to say this is some form of evolution. Alright? Or evidence for evolution. That's an assumption. That's them doing what's known as inception, man. That's them planting a thought in your mind, man. Okay? And passing it off as truth. This is a group of scientists have found what may be the most intact fossilized primate skull ever discovered, and the find could shed light, which is a complete oxymoron. Look, man, they ain't shedding no light. All they're doing is continuing the shroud of darkness which they placed over the scientific community, going back to the days of the Lunar Society, man, over here in England. And the find could shed light on the common evolutionary heritage shared by apes and humans. Again, there is no evidence for apes and humans sharing any heritage whatsoever. Right? There's never been no missing links found. They've never seen a species or kind of animal produce a completely different kind of animal. It's never been seen. It's never been witnessed. It's not science. It's religion. Okay? It's theory. Okay? The fact of the matter is the Heavenly Father created different kinds of flesh on this earth. Apes are one kind, men is another kind. Okay? That's plain and simple. And that truth is going to be established when America is destroyed. Okay? Right now, that truth is really only for the elect. But in due time, the entire truth of existence is going to be established over the whole earth. But first, the devil, Satan, the serpent, the so-called white man, must be brought low. And his time must come to an end. It says the lemon-sized skull was discovered in Kenya by an international team of researchers and was dated to the middle of the Miocene era. Now, how was it dated? First of all, what is the Miocene, or I might be pronouncing it wrong, excuse me, Miocene era? A little understood time, yeah, because it never existed. When many species of ape arose in Africa, again, they have no evidence for this. Okay, this is called inference. They found some skulls in a particular strata of the geological column, as they say, and they deduce these wild dates, including common ancestors of both modern apes and humans. They have no proof of that. That's inference once again. This skull could give scientists insights into what those common ancestors look like. So they'll probably make a whole host of documentaries now where a bunch of artists make up some produce some figments of their imagination and give it to your children to watch. And then so your children are going to believe that these things are real when they're nothing more than computer models. Okay, it's all falsehood. Okay. Let me see if they're actually going to say in there how they actually dated this thing. I don't know whether they use radiometric data or they use the geological strata they found it in. Both methods are in error. Okay, and you could look up that how radiometric dating is completely in error. But let's look at this Miocene era. Okay, the Miocene era is the first geological epoch of the Neogene period, and they make up all these fancy terms, so that makes people think that what they're talking about actually existed, but it doesn't. It says and extends from about 23.03 to 5.33 million years ago. I mean, the Miocene was named by Sir Charles Lyell. Didn't I mention this guy? I know exactly. I didn't even read this article fully before I get. Look, I know where this shit comes from. I know. I see. I know where this shit comes from. It comes from these bastards that were in the Lunar Society, man, that co-opted the righteous scientific community, which was established by Israelites, which is all about the investigation of the knowledge and the existence that the Most High created, and they co-opted it and started bringing about their lies, man. Its name comes from the Greek word meon or whatever, means less, and kainos, which means new and means less recent, because it has 18% fewer modern sea invertebrates than all this bullshit. Okay, look, prehistory doesn't exist. Okay, prehistory does not exist. Okay, they've made all that up, and you don't have to believe me. The only ones that are really gonna ultimately believe what I'm saying right now is the elect, because it's given unto the elect to understand truth. The rest of you people are going to remain in darkness until the great light makes his appearance, man. Right, so I just want to jump to Revelations 20:7 in regards to the old serpent, the dragon, and the devil and Satan, which represents the Edomites, okay? That represents the so-called white men. And I want to jump straight to the point. And when the 1,000 years are expired, now this particular 1,000 years is talking about after the so-called dark ages, the middle ages, where the so-called white man was not in authority over the peoples of the earth. Okay, but then he came into power beginning with around the 1400s. And when the 1,000 years are expired, Satan shall be loosed out of his prison and shall go out to deceive the nations which are in the four quarters of this earth, because his philosophies and his wine has influence over the four corners of the earth. The whole earth is being made drunk with this form of wickedness and evil and falsehood, because he is the great authority on the earth right now when it comes to matters of science, of knowledge, of thought, of intellectual thought, and he's pushing his madness from China all the way to America. Okay, you have people all over the world that subscribe to evolution, that subscribe to the Big Bang Theory, which all that comes from the so-called white man. All right, Gog and Magog, to gather them together to battle, the number of whom is as the sand of the sea. Okay, because ultimately things are leading towards the establishment of World War III, which is going to be their end anyway. All right, now what I want to do is I'm going to upload a video on my channel in regards to Noah's flood, and all of this Charles Lyell and all this stuff, like I said, was all an attempt to discredit the Holy Scriptures. All right, to co-opt the scientific community and to discredit the Holy Scriptures. And that's why we're at a point today where the majority of people on the planet Earth do not believe in Noah's flood. But the scriptures tell you this would happen. And how did this come about? Because even the other nations knew about Noah's flood. They recorded it. How did this come about? Through the agent known as the so-called white man. Because he is that devil. He is the ultimate deceiver. He is a shroud of darkness upon the earth. Okay? He is one of the main reasons why there is a complete lack of faith in the Holy Scriptures and the Most High on the earth. He's played the biggest part in that. 2 Peter 3:3, knowing this first, that there shall come in the last days scoffers, walking after their own lusts, and saying, where is the promise of his coming? For since the fathers fell asleep, all things continue as they were from the beginning of creation. For this they willingly are ignorant of, by the word of the Most High, the heavens were of old, and the earth standing out of the water and in the water. Meaning they disregard the account of Genesis, and they choose rather to believe in Stephen Hawkins and the rest of these demons. False prophets, whereby the world that then was, being overflowed with water, perished. They don't believe in Noah's flood no more. Now I'm going to re-upload a video on my channel which is going into Noah's flood, and show you that when you really look at the science of the matter, true science, empirical science, actually backs up that there was a great flood. Case in point, the whole earth has geological formations which you would expect if there was a great flood, like sedimentary rock covering the surface of the earth. Okay, so check that video out. I'm going to re-upload it. But I'll put the link in the description box. But the heavens and the earth, which are now by the same word, are kept in store. Because when you discredit that which is written of in the Bible in terms of history, you then discredit in the whole Bible. Therefore, you discredit in the prophecies which are to come. When you discredit in the past, you discredit in the present, you discredit in what it speaks of in regards to the future, like the destruction of America. And that's why most people don't believe, because they don't believe the things which the scriptures have written. But the heavens and the earth, which are now by the same word, the same Heavenly Father that brought forth the creation of this world, that brought forth the flood, he's the same one that has called for the destruction of this world and the coming of the kingdom of heaven. The same power. By the same word, it's written in the same book, are kept in store, reserved unto fire against the day of judgment and perdition of ungodly men. And let me finish on this, because look, at the end of the day, our faith is this, that what we're teaching and what we believe is going to be established. Just how you see Esau has established lies on this earth, in our kingdom, the truth is going to be established, and everyone's going to know it. The Bible is going to become the ultimate book, the ultimate source and foundation of all knowledge in our kingdom to come. It's not going to take a back seat. It's going to be in the front seat, the driving seat. Okay, Yahweh Shai. Okay, 2 Ezra 6:25. Whoso remaineth from all these that I have told thee shall escape and see my salvation and the end of your world. And the men that are received shall see it, who have not tasted death from their birth. And the heart of the inhabitants shall be changed and turned into another meaning. For evil shall be put out, and deceit shall be quenched. And as for faith, it shall flourish. Corruption shall be overcome. Which, that's what this is. This is corruption. And they got it under the science section. This is corruption right here. 30 million. Yes, corruption. That's going to be quenched. That's going to be done away with. Deceit is going to be quenched. Corruption shall be overcome. And the truth, which hath been so long without fruit, shall be declared. All praises to Yahweh Ba'Sham Yahweh Shai. Shalom.